Hello and welcome to another session of weekly analysis of current events. So as usual, we'll start from the culture area. So the first topic for discussion is Madhubani Paintings. This is a news because recently the artist from Madhubani district of Bihar, they became famous for making mask and with hand-picked Madhubani motifs. So our point of concern here is talking about the Madhubani paintings. So Madhubani paintings has its origin in Mithila regions of Bihar, and it is one of the very oldest and famous paintings in Indian art forms, and it is also practiced in Nepal. Okay, and the traces of Madhubani painting can be also be noticed in Ramayana and the Indian epic. So Madhubani painting is also called as Mithila painting because it was originated in the Mithila region, and the pattern of painting is basically geometric. It's floral, and animal and bird motifs can also be seen. So it is based on the mythological characters which depicts the life of the Hindu deities like Krishna, Rama, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga and Shiva. So the colors that is used in the painting, it is from the natural extract of plants and natural sources. Like the black color, it is obtained from mixing soot with cow dung, and the blue color is from indigo, the white from the rice powder, the orange from the palasha flowers, etc. Okay, so this comes from the culture area. Now we'll move on to the history part, where the first topic we are going to deal is Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Why? Because on 23rd July, India paid tribute to the freedom fighter and the educationalist, that is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, on his birth anniversary. So talking about Tilak, he was born on 23rd July 1856 in Ratnagiri, Maharashtra. He's a freedom fighter, he's a lawyer, and he's popularly known as Lokamanya Tilak. And the contribution towards the society, in case of education, it is basically Deccan Education Society. His associates in establishing Deccan Education Society was Gopal Ganesh Agarkar. And he also contributed in education in the field of Ferguson College in 1885 in Pune through this society, that is Deccan Education Society. So we can indeed say that he was an educationist. Okay. And the famous slogan of Tilak was Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. Okay. And a book called Indian Unrest was written by Valentin Shirol, and he stated that that's an English journalist stated that Tilak is a father of Indian unrest. Okay, so Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it, and father of unrest, Indian unrest. And towards the religion and culture, he popularized the Ganesh Chaturthi festival, that is in the Maharashtra region. He propounded the celebration of Shiva Jayanti on the anniversary of Chhatrapati Shivaji. Then he towards the freedom struggle, I would say he was in that trio Lal, Bal, Pal, and they were the extremists of the time. And then later he joined Indian National Congress in 1890, and then propagated Swadeshi movement and encourages people to boycott foreign goods. And again, All India Home Rule League was founded by Tilak in April in 1916 at Belgaum. So, and he worked in Maharashtra, okay, except in Bombay. He was not allowed to enter Bombay. So, except in Bombay, all around Maharashtra, in central provinces, Karnataka and Berar, he did this Home Rule League. Rest of India was covered by Annie Besant. And the famous newspaper is the Kesari, that is a weekly, okay. It is Kesari, that is written in Marathi, and Maharatha written in English. You can call it Maratha, you can call it Maharatha, Maharatha. It's different in different books, okay. And he also wrote some books called as Gita Rahasya and Arctic Home of Vedas. And he died in 1st August 1920. Okay, the same way we have one more person on July 23rd, that is Chandrasekhar Assad. So the next news is about Chandrasekhar Assad, because India paid tribute to Chandrasekhar Assad also on his birth anniversary, that is 23rd July. So Assad was born, as I said, on 23rd July 1906 in Alirajpur district of Madhya Pradesh. So Chandrasekhar Assad, he joined non-cooperation movement in 1921 December, and then he got arrested because of it. So when he was presented before a magistrate, he gave his name as Assad, that means the free, and his father's name as Swatantrata, that is independence, and his residence as jail. Okay, that is why the name Assad. After the suspension of the non-cooperation movement in 1922 by Gandhi, Assad, he joined in Hindustan Republican Association, and later on the Kakori conspiracy or the Kakori train robbery near Kakori, Lucknow was done in 1925 by the Hindustan Republic Association. And the Hindustan Socialist Republic Association was established in 1928 by, altering the HRA, or HRA was converted into HSRA in 1928 at Firozshah Kotla by Chandrasekhar Assad, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev Thapar, and Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee, Ashfullah Khan, all of them together. And he died in Azad Park in Allahabad on 27th February in 1931. Okay, so that's all about history. Now we'll move on to the government intervention. The first topic is Basmati GI Tag. So this is a news because the All India Rice Exporters Association area had appealed to government to preserve and protect the integrity of Basmati rice, because Madhya Pradesh government is pressuring the central government for giving new geographical indication tag for Basmati in 13 district of Madhya Pradesh. So talking about the news, India is the only producer of premium Basmati, and it has been grown from the very long time in the Indo-Gangetic plains and 18 districts of Pakistan's Punjab. Okay, so it has been a tough battle for the country to protect Basmati's name from the encroachment of various nations, which all came with new versions of Basmati. Fine. So Apeda, they got GI tag for the regions located in the Indo-Gangetic plains below the foothills of Himalaya. So that is across Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand and Western Uttar Pradesh, and also Delhi. So this was in May 2010 when we got the GI tag. And the origin and reputation of Basmati rice as a long grain aromatic rice from the Indo-Gangetic plain is very traditional. It is folklore, scientific and culinary literature, and it is also very historically important. So the Dehraduni Basmati, Amritsar Basmati and Tarawari Basmati are very few varieties which have become very famous over the last 100 years. Hundreds of years, I would say. So what is the claim by Madhya Pradesh is that MP claims that its rice possesses the same characteristics as grown in the Indo-Gangetic plain, one thing. And it also claimed that nearly 80,000 farmers of state are growing Basmati in 13 districts. And they are exporting around 3,000 crore worth annually. So Madhya Pradesh appealed in Madras High Court, where its plea was rejected in 2020, that is in February. So in 2016, the Intellectual Property Appellate Board, IPBA, in Chennai had given the decision in favor of Apeda. So despite these order, MP has been repeatedly, raising the banter through political and bureaucratic channel. So why they are getting rejected? Because under WTO's TRIPS, that is trade related aspects of intellectual property rights agreement, physical attributes are not enough for a product to earn GI tag. Okay, so as per the Goods Registration and Protection Act in 2003, reputation to a geographical area is central to the recognition of a GI product, and only 7 states have that reputation. Madhya Pradesh falls in the Madhya Bharat Patthar region, that's a Deccan Plateau region, and started cultivation of various varieties of basmati rice only, very recently, or in the middle of the first decade of the century. So even if the rice grown in MP has all the required character, it would not be qualified as such quality basmati, because basmati rice in our country is related to our tradition, our culture, our history. So that way it will not hold the claim. Okay. The next topic for discussion is the Zoram Mega Food Park, that is in Mizoram. So recently, the government has operationalized the first food park, Mega Food Park in Mizoram. The name is Zoram Mega Food Park. So it is located in the Kamrang village in the Kolasib district of Mizoram, and it is a very huge one, spread over 55 acres of land, and it is not only expected to benefit the people of Mizoram, but it is also benefiting the people in the adjoining state of Assam as well, because Assam already have an MFP in the Nalbari district, that is known as Northeast Mega Food Park. This will actually boost the Northeast region's potential to become an organic destination of the world, because it has very rich agricultural and horticultural produce. So what is this Mega Food Park scheme? It was actually launched in 2008-2009 time period under the purview of the Ministry of Food Processing Industries. So the aim is to provide a mechanism to link the agricultural production to the market by bringing together farmers, processors, retailers to add value to the product, minimize the wastage, and double the farmers' income, and also give more employment opportunities in the rural area. Okay. Now the next topic is Aspire portal. So this is in news because the International Center of Automotive Technology, ICAT, is developing a technology platform for the automotive industry, and it has been named as Aspire, which stands for Automotive Solutions Portal for Industry Research and Education. So the portal is being developed in line with the initiative by the Department of Heavy Industry, which comes under the Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises. The objective is to enhance the technological capability of the Indian automotive sector through exchange of knowledge and expertise. So they will make us self-reliant, and it will also facilitate the growth of the automotive sector. So that will actually lead to the overall socio-economic progress of our country. More job, more social status, more economic production. So it will be an overall progress for the country. So what is this International Center for Automotive Technology? It is a, automotive testing, certification and R&D service provider. So it's a world-class thing, and it works under NATRIP, that is a National Automotive Testing and R&D Infrastructure Project, that's under Government of India. So NATRIP is a fully Government of India funded project, and the vision is to create a research and testing infrastructure in the country itself, and making India a global hub for automotive excellence. Okay, and it was established in Manesar in Haryana. Now coming to the polity portion, we'll first deal with the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. The new Consumer Protection Act of 2019, it came very recently in July 2020, and this will empower the consumers and help them in protecting their rights. So the Consumer Protection Act 2019 is established the Central Consumer Protection Authority, whose primary objective will be to promote and protect the rights of the consumers. Okay, so the e-commerce entities, like whichever is through the online, so the e-commerce entities, they are required to provide information to the customers relating the refund, the return policy, exchange, warranty and guarantee, delivery and shipment, and the modes of payment, the grievance redressal mechanism, payment methods, security of payment, and chargeback options, the country of origin. Such information must be provided to the consumers. These are necessary for enabling the consumer to make an informed decision at a pre-purchase stage. Okay, and these platforms will have to acknowledge the receipts of any customer complaint within the 48 hours. Okay, and the redressal should be done within 1 month from the date of receipt. And this will be very consumer friendly actually. And they will also have to appoint a grievance officer for the consumer grievance redressal. That means a separate officer for this particular thing. And the Consumer Protection E-Commerce Rule 2020 are mandatory and are not advisory in nature. The next topic for discussion here is the National Financial Reporting Authority. So recently the NFRA has constituted a technical advisory committee in order to advise them or the executive body of NFRA on the issues relating to accounting standards and auditing standards. That is why it is in news. So talking about the authority, NFRA was constituted in 2018 by the Government of India under Companies Act. Okay, so it's an audit regulator basically. The decision to constitute NFRA was taken by the role of after the role of auditors and the chartered accountants of India became very important in understanding the lapses in various corporate scams, including the Punjab National Bank. So the role of chartered accountants or the role of auditors is very important. So such a body is needed in order to identify the gaps in the financial sector. So it consists of a chairperson who shall be the person of eminence, and he'll be very expertise in accountancy, auditing and finance, and he will be appointed by the central government, and the total members of the authority will not exceed 15 members. So they will recommend the accounting and auditing policies and standards to be adopted by the companies, and they will monitor the accounting standards and the auditing standards, and they will oversee the quality of service of the professional associating with such standards, and also they will protect the public interest, and also they have the power to undertake investigation related to the class of companies, which includes the stock exchanges companies or the unlisted public companies or the insurance companies, banking companies, and such companies working in the financial sector. Right. Now, the next topic for discussion here is the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index 2020. So, recently, Global Multidimensional Poverty Index 2020 was released by UNDP, United Nations Development Programme, and it is released along with the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, OPHI. So, we can say that Global Multidimensional Poverty Index 2020 was released by UNDP and OPHI together. So the key points from the index is that 1.3 billion people are still living in the multidimensional poverty. So more than 80% are deprived in at least 5 of the 10 indicators used to measure health, education and standard of living. So the burden of multidimensional poverty, it falls on children. Okay, half of the multidimensionally poor people are children under the age of 18, and 65 out of 75 countries have significantly reduced their multidimensional poverty levels between the year 2000 and 2019. And talking regionally, about 84 percentage of the multidimensionally poor people, they live in Africa, the sub-Saharan Africa and also South Asia, and 67% of the multidimensionally poor people are in the middle income countries. India lifted like around 270 million people out of multidimensional poverty. That is between the financial year of 2005-2006 and 2015-2016. That is in a decade. And in China, around 70 million people left on multidimensional poverty between 2010 and 2014, while in Bangladesh, the number declined by 19 million between 2014 and 2019. And when the COVID situation came, it had a greater impact on the landscape. So the study, it says that the poverty level will be set back to 3 to 10 years due to this COVID-19 situation. So we'll move back because of this COVID-19 situation. And the index, it emphasizes on measuring and monitoring the progress under the goals to reach zero poverty by 2030. That's the goal 1 of the SDG, poverty. And talking about the multidimensional poverty index, it was launched by UNDP and OPHI in 2010. So it is based on the idea that poverty is not unidimensional. It does not depend on income and it does not depend on one individual. That one individual can be actually calculated on the basis of the needs like education and health also. So if he doesn't have income, doesn't make him poor. If there are many other factors that make him poor, so it's a multi-dimensional approach towards poverty. So the index shows the proportion of the poor people and the average number of deprivation each poor person experiences at the same time, indicating that he is poor. So it has 3 indices, that is education, health and standard of living. Okay, so a person shall be multidimensionally poor if he or she is deprived in 1/3 or more of the weighted indicators. That is how it is calculated. Now we'll move on to the environment section. The first topic for discussion is Lonar Lake. This was in news because the Agarkar Research Institute recently said that the color of Lonar Lake water has turned pink due to large presence of the salt-loving Haloarchaea microbes. So the Lonar Lake is in Maharashtra, okay, Buldhana district of Maharashtra. So the water of the lake has turned pink in color. So the water samples have been tested by Nagpur-based National Environment Engineering Research Institute, that is NEERI, and the Agarkar Research Institute in Pune. So it has been assumed that the absence of rain and less human interference because of the lockdown and high temperature resulted in evaporation of water. So evaporation led to the increased salinity, and that led to increased the pH difference. And pH is basically the measure of how acidic or basic the water is. So the increased salinity and the pH, it facilitated the growth of halophilic microbes called as Haloarchaea. So the halophiles are basically a group of microorganisms that grow in the areas of very high salt concentration. Okay, so Haloarchaea or halophilic archaea is a bacteria which produces pink color or the pigment, and it is found mainly, as I told you, in the high salt concentration waters. So because of the biomass of the Haloarchaea microbes, the surface of the water turned pink or rather red. So as the biomass subsides, the color will also goes off. So the color of the lake is now returning to original as the rainy season is starting off, and the water is getting diluted. Okay, so talking about the Lonar Lake, it is also called as Lonar Crater. It's a saline or alkaline lake in the Buldhana district of Maharashtra. It is in the Deccan Plateau, situated in the Deccan Plateau, and it is a massive plain of volcanic basalt rock, and it is created by volcanic eruptions. It's an oval-shaped, it's an oval-shaped lake. It's very tourist attractive place, and it is also notified as National Jio Heritage Monument as well. What is a Jio Heritage Monument? It is basically a geographical feature which have cultural significance, and it is offering insights to the Earth's evolution or the history of the Earth science. So it can be utilized for education. Such areas will be notified as Jio Heritage Monument. So Lonar Lake, since it's a part of the volcanic eruption, so it can be quoted as a Geo Heritage Site. And Geological Survey of India is a parent body which is identifying and protecting such geoheritage sites. Okay, now the next topic for discussion here is the Brusikova National Park. So the National Green Tribunal has issued notices to the Environment Ministry the Oil India Limited, and two concerned state entities to explain the environmental clearances for the proposed drilling sites in Brusikova National Park. That is the news that is come in the newspaper. So the Brusikova National Park, it is a biosphere reserve as well. It is in the southern bank of Brahmaputra river, and it is in Assam. So the forest type of Brusikova is basically semi-evergreen and deciduous forest, and as it is in the floodplains of the Brahmaputra river, it is also having the littoral or swamp forest, and it has the patches of wet evergreen forest also. So vegetation wise, it is very rich, and it is the largest swamp forest in the northeastern India as well. It is identified as an important bird area, IBA. So IBA are the areas notified by the international institution called as BirdLife International. So they will notify various places as IBA where the bird concentration is very high. Okay, so the basic mammals that is found are the tigers, elephants, leopard, jungle cat, bears, civets, squirrels, gangetic dolphins, hoolock gibbon, etc. So there is a wetland also, Maguri Motapunk wetland. It's a part of the reserve. So why this is in news? I'll tell you more about the news. The OIL has clarified that its exploratory drilling project is under Brusikova National Park. So the argument is based on the extended reach drilling. Enable the drilling of wells up to a depth of 4 kilometers. Okay, so the OIL has obtained permission for 7 wells in 2016 on the basis of this extended reach drilling. So it is actually going to a vertical depth, and it is going to intersect the hydrocarbon target far from the surface of the areas of the reservoir. That will be very access in normal methods. So the notice have been issued following a gas leak that occurred in the Brusikova National Park. That happened in an oil field near to this Brusikova National Park. So it actually displaced around 11,000 people from their home. So earlier NGT has also ordered the formation of a committee to probe into this illegal coal mining by the northeastern coal fields. So this is regarding to that also. Dehing Patkai Elephant Reserve was in news as well because of this coal fields that is happening in and around Dehing Patkai in Assam. So the same way NGT has ordered a probe into this case also. The next topic for discussion is Bathynomus raksasa, that is an isopod species. So recently the scientists have reported the discovery of the super giant isopod species in the Indian Ocean. It is named as Bathynomus raksasa. So it's a isopod and it is the genus Bathynomus. What is isopod basically? It's a marine invertebrate. Okay, so the animal without any backbones. So they belongs to this crustacean group of animals, and crustaceans are basically the crabs and shrimps, such animals. So they live in many different types of habitats, from mountains and from deserts to deep sea. So isopods they can reach 50 centimeters and are referred to supergiants. Okay, so this is one of the such supergiants that we can see. Now we'll move on to science and technology. So the first topic is RADT versus RT-PCR. Recently, the New Delhi's COVID-19 testing strategy have become controversial due to the low level of RT-PCR. What is RT-PCR? That's a reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction. That is retesting in person and tested negative in RADT, that is rapid antigen detection test. So the New Delhi's COVID testing, it actually is in controversial situation because the people having low level of RT-PCR have negative in RADT. So that is a news. So RADT is a test on swabbed nasal samples that detects antigens that are found on or within the SARS-CoV-2. Okay, and it is the point of care of test performing outside the conventional laboratory setting, and it actually gives a quick diagnostic result. Like RT-PCR, the rapid antigen detection test also seeks to detect the virus rather than antibodies produced by the body. So while the mechanism is different, the most significant difference between two of them is the time. Because RT-PCR takes a minimum of 2 to 5 hours, including the time taken for the transport of the sample collected. It is a reliable antigen detection test also. So the maximum duration for interpreting a test positive or negative is 30 minutes. Okay, the case of RT-PCR. So RT-PCR is it is developed by Carey Mullis. He was awarded Nobel Prize also for the same. And under this, the copies of segment of DNA are created using an enzyme called polymerase. So the chain reaction, it signifies how DNA fragments are copied, and one is copied into 2, or 2 are copied into 4, and so on. So a fluorescent DNA binding dye, it is called as probe. So that probe is added to DNA. So it shows the presence of virus on a fluorometer. Understanding it? So binding dye is added to DNA, and if there is virus, it can be shown on a fluorometer. However, coronavirus is made of RNA. Okay, therefore, in order to detect coronavirus, RNA is converted into DNA using reverse transcription. Okay, so reverse transcriptase enzyme converts RNA into DNA, and the copies of DNA are then made and amplified, and this dyeing process happens. Understanding it? Okay. Now, the next topic is Blackrock Android malware. So, recently a security firm has alerted about a new malware, that is Blackrock. It targets the social communication and dating apps. So, the Blackrock, it's a banking Trojan, and it has an enhanced version of existing Xerxes malware, which actually is a variant of the Loki bot Android Trojan. Everything is linked, guys. First came the Loki bot Android Trojan, then came the Xerxes, then came this Blackrock. Okay, so a Trojan is basically a malicious program. It is disguising a legitimate one. So they're designed to steal the sensitive information from the users. It can be any information, financial information, card details, account numbers, anything. Okay. So the banking Trojans are a specific kind of the Trojan malware, and once it is installed into the client machine, the banking Trojans use a variety of techniques to actually break the code and access the credentials of the people. Okay, the next topic for discussion is from international relations, that is US-India Strategic Energy Partnership. So recently India and the US has participated in a virtual meeting or the ministerial meeting of this SEP, that is Strategic Energy Partnership, to review the progress and also highlight whatever they have achieved so far and what are all the priority areas. Okay, so SEP was established in 2018. The main objective is to bring about a meaningful engagement through government-to-government cooperation and industry engagement. So, SEP, it organizes the engagement on majorly 4 pillars. One is sustainable growth, then oil and gas, renewable energy, and the power and energy efficiency. So they also support USA efforts under Asia Edge Initiative. Asia Edge Initiative is bringing India as a strong energy partner in the Indo-Pacific region. That is a initiative by USA. Okay, and the two countries are going to collaborate on research and development through PACER. PACER is It's a clean energy research initiative called Spacer on the smart grids and energy to store will increase the resilience and reliability of the electric grid. And it also promotes the continued bilateral research and development engagement on civil nuclear energy technology. So we have an agreement called as US India Civil Nuclear Energy Working Group. Okay, so we will empower it more. And both sides launched a public-private hydrogen task force. Why? In order to produce hydrogen from renewable energy and fossil fuel sources and making it a energy security thing. Okay, and they also launched this USA Department of Energy and the national labs and the Indian National Institute under Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. They launched this particular collaboration, and it is also supported by USAID. Please search for USAID. Okay, it is very famous and it is collaborating in many fields, so please learn about it. So this particular collaboration, that is between the US Energy Department and India's Renewable Energy Department, and it is also supported by USAID, and it will be giving many clean energy technologies. So that's all about today's session. So if you have any doubts, as I have already told you, please feel free to comment it in the comment section. And thank you so much.